Hello and welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is that you are. I'm Noha, your conscious maverick, your supernova coach, your business rainmaker. So today, of course, I decided that I wanted to chat to you about this all in this commentary that we also often get, that we also often make, that we also often say. It's too expensive. Oh, I can't afford that. So, shall we crack a whip on that one? Because really, I would love to have a chat about it. So, I'm just sharing this to my personal page, and then I can, yeah. All right. So, very, very interesting. I put out the post this morning on my Facebook page, as well as my personal page, as well as Instagram, which I do every morning. And I post content each and every morning that I deem is going to, of relevance to my clients, to my audiences, to my followers, you. And yeah, I've had some people that give me some comments, which is cool. I love that, and I'm going to ask that you also give me some comments as we go along. So very often we find ourselves in a position, sometimes more times than we wish, right? We want to pursue something, we want to have something, we want to be able to go and travel, we want to be able to go and buy that new bag or that new shoes, or apply for coaching, or get a new coach, attend a class, go on the retreat or something of the sorts, and buy the new car. And we think, oh no, I can't do that, it's too expensive. Okay. Or we say things like, oh no, I can't afford that. But now here's the reality. That very conversation, that very thing that we are saying of, oh no, it's too expensive, or oh no, I can't afford that, is the very thing that is making us unable, okay, to be able to afford anything of value now or in the future, okay, unless we start changing that narrative. Okay, I speak a lot about the stories we say to ourselves, the narratives that we have, both those that we are speaking out as well as those that we're actually having in our minds. Okay, and if our narrative is repetitive in the same line of conversation of, oh no, it's too expensive, I can't afford that cost a lot, are you shitting me? I've got that one before. And if we are going to maintain that narrative, what we're doing with ourselves, right, is that we're doing this, okay? We're contracting, right? We're contracting our view and our potentiality and our probability of this entire universe, okay? Of this entire world. So what I mean by that is, when you go and say, oh, it's too expensive, or I can't afford it, you are already closing yourself off to any possibility. You are already closing the door, okay? However, if it was changed to, maybe later, okay, or a thought process starts going in your mind and thinking, okay, hold on a second. It might not be in my financial priority now, but how can I make it a financial priority? Okay. Now, I don't know if you can sense that energetically, that as soon as you start changing the word processing, the energy of that starts to change. You are not saying no to yourself. You are not saying, oh, I'm never going to be at that level. You are not saying that I'm never going to be able to have that amount of money. Because when you do say it's too expensive, or I can't afford that, or whatever the phrase is that you're choosing to use, that's actually what you're putting out in the universe. That's what you're saying to the universe. You're saying that I don't think that I have it within me to ever be able to afford something like that. And I don't quite know, and I really want you to think about this. Is that really what you're wanting to say to the universe? Because if that is the case, then you are sitting one with some serious flippant limiting belief around that. Okay. And if you're sitting with that limiting belief around that, it's been probably coming on a very long time, and probably very deep rooted, and something needs to be done about it. Okay. So I know for me, I've had many people come up to me, and when I quote my prices, people say, oh, it's too expensive for me. And I completely and utterly respect that. And I hear the person, okay. And I wholeheartedly agree. Probably they can't afford it, right? But why is it necessary for you to close yourself off to any possibility? And I'm not just talking about my services. Take my services aside. I want to be able to talk about what it is that you are choosing for yourself. And if you keep on saying the same thing to yourself, you're only but pushing what it is that you're choosing for yourself further and further away. And when you are pushing it further and further away, your vision, your choice, your desires are moving further and further away. Okay. Now, hello, Dad. I can probably tell you tons of stories about how I have come through not being able to afford something, where I found that something was way too expensive for me to be able to afford. But here's just the thing, and my content that I share with you guys every day in written form is written like at least about 7 days to 10 days before the time. That post that I put out today, I wrote about 8 days ago, okay? They're just all sitting in my notes on my phone until the day I choose, okay, that's the one I'm going to put out today. But, I have had moments, plenty of times, plenty more than I want to be able to acknowledge and more than I want to count, where I was unable to afford something that I truly desired. Okay. Take 2016, for example. I really wanted to go overseas. I've never been to Europe prior to that, and I really wanted to go. Boom. Suddenly I decided, you know what, I'm actually going to make this happen. I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know through what means, but I'm going to make this happen. And 3 weeks later, somebody gifted me with a plane ticket. Okay. Now, if that wasn't enough, yes, a plane ticket is there, but I do actually need to still have accommodation. I still need to go and see, different places. I need to have my transport from one place to the next, because I went to a few countries in Europe in that trip. And I was going to do this trip solo. And then I decided, you know what, actually, I want to go with my husband. So let me ask him if he can go with. But in order to sweeten the deal, I went off on a limb, more like a ledge rather, and said, I'll pay for you. I'll pay your plane ticket. Okay. And I'll pay your accommodation. That one was easy because, of course, we're accommodating together. And I'll pay your accommodation. You just need to have your spending money. Sweet deal, man. I had no idea how that was going to happen, but it did. Okay. Mainly because I believed that I could. Mainly because I was not going to allow my mind to control my external circumstances. Okay. So that is just one example. Yesterday, one of my soul sister tribes, mentioned something in a group of ours, that a client also said to her, oh, you know what, it's too expensive. And she did research online, and coaches cost, I don't know what the damn low price she was quoting. And this dear soul sister of mine has spent 20 years not just working in the industry that she is, having worked for Fortune 500 companies, as well as having done her full-on psychology and industrial psychology degree. No, ma'am. No. Okay. That person has done the work, paid her dues in order for her to come and charge the price that she does. Okay. So the energy that we have, the energy that we bring of how we choose to say things in our minds, to say things to others, is what's actually going to change this thing. Okay. So as I said at the beginning, when we use words like it's too expensive, or it's too, it's too expensive, I can't afford that, I don't have that kind of money, oh, that's not for me, we are in fact saying that we just do this. Okay. Yet when we change it, when we change the concept and say, oh, you know what, I want to see how I can make that happen. Oh, all of a sudden I just expanded. You know what? That may not be a priority for me right now. Oh, now I've just expanded a bit more. Okay. And I said this the other day, and I said it in the post today as well, that what we know for sure, as Oprah would say, is that those of us, those of you who keep on saying that, oh, it's too expensive, it's too whatever, blah, 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 you are not making what you are choosing, what you're saying you want, as a priority. And here's how we know that. Okay. I can tell you now that whatever it is that you are spending your money on right now, whatever it is that you are paying top dollar for right now, that's a priority for you. Okay. For some people and many people, it's their families, it's their homes, it's their luxury, it's their entertainment. Okay. For some, it's their education, right? For some, it's their businesses. It differs from person to person. But the thing is that we all must recognize, first and foremost, before we go and bullshit ourselves, is to recognize and know what is your priority. Okay. One thing that I can tell you is that when somebody decides, so for example, I take myself, when somebody comes into my space and pays me my price that I'm charging, that I know that I'm worth, right? And you come to me, know that I am going to perform at that dollar rate. Know that I am going to perform and give the value to that value that you are paying me. So what I'm actually inadvertently saying is, and here's just the thing, it depends, you can go on a holiday, right? And you can go on a holiday, up country maybe, or, in your town, and there's going to be a certain level of luxury that you are going to experience, right? Or you can go to Europe, for example, and you can choose whether you're going to stay in a hostel, right? Or whether you're going to stay in a luxury accommodation. What you do know is that when you stay in the hostel, you are going to get the experience and the value of a hostel, right? There's not going to be a spa, sweetheart, okay? There is not going to be potentially there won't even be breakfast, and if there is breakfast, it's not going to be a continental breakfast or an English breakfast or anything of that kind. There's definitely may not be a concierge in front. There may not be an airport transfer for you. However, on the equal opposite side, should you choose to go and stay in a more luxury accommodation or luxurious luxury accommodation, you know that there are certain things that you are expecting now because that is what you are paying. And it's the same with when you are choosing to purchase something from someone else, okay? I can tell you that my performance rate of what I do based on old prices of mine way back in the past and what I do now, oh my God, it is chalk and cheese, okay? And that's not because I don't think I was good back then. I was shit hot back then. But right now, I'm even hotter than what I was back then. Okay. Why? And how does the calculations work? Okay. I know what I've spent on my learning. I know what I have spent in being able to bring my knowledge and my work to the people who I serve. And because I know what that costs, okay, I know how to cost my time and my value. And now I don't sell time. Actually, I don't. I sell an outcome. I sell a value. Okay. So know that it is when you are coming to people who are charging a top dollar, okay, that is the value that you are getting. Okay. And it's a damn big thing. right? It's the difference between you know, going to someone who's charging you, you know, $200 for a website versus somebody who's charging you $2,000. Okay. If you go and look at the work of those two people, you can see there's a marked difference. Okay. And it really depends on what it is that you're choosing. For example, okay, we in South Africa, for those of you who are outside of South Africa, in South Africa, we have one of our best value, can I put it? Is that a nicer word than cheap? Best value clothing stores would be Mr. Price, as an example. Okay, I have a lot of clothes of Mr. Price. I do, and I'm not. It's convenient. Okay, because I don't put a high value on certain clothes that I wear. If I'm gonna go to an evening wear, you know, black tie event, trust me, I'm not going to Mr. Price. Okay, then I'm gonna go to a high-end boutique, right? But in my Mr. Price clothing that I wear every day, in fact, I think this is one of the tops, I don't have an expectation of it lasting long. I don't have an expectation of it having longevity. I don't have an expectation of it looking fucking fabulous for the rest of my life. I don't. It's the same when you buy a pair of boots. I mean, ladies, do we not know this? Oh my God. You know, if you're going to go and buy a very cool synthetic boot, you know that it's only going to last for that season. But if you're going to buy a very, well, a valuable, beautiful piece of leather boots, you know that it's going to last you for seasons, plural, many, many seasons to come. So that really, you know, is the thinking concept, okay? And I know that I've been in that situation where I'm in last year still. I mean, I was in that situation where my coach cost me in excess of 12,000 pounds. Okay, if you do the math on that, I think it's about 240k in rand value. Okay, do I have buyer's remorse? Fuck no. I have learned a hell of a lot, and I still continue to. Okay. Do I, think, oh my God, it's the toughest thing I ever had to do? Yeah, it was. It was. Okay. It was scary as fuck making a commitment and an investment like that. But I know that I'm the better off for it. I know that I have advanced in so many different areas. And some of you who've been following me for a long while can see it today. Okay. You can see it. I've had people come up to me and send me messages, dear friends of mine, and saying, shit, you're on another level right now. That's because I invested in someone to help me get to the next level. Okay. So the big thing that I'm wanting all of us to actually understand is when we use wording like it's too expensive, I can't afford it, that's too much, blah, blah, blah. We are in fact making our world a bit smaller. And when we make our world a bit smaller, what are we actually saying to the universe? Just think about it. I don't trust you. That's what we're saying. When we say to the universe that I don't think that I can afford that, we are saying that we don't trust the universe. We don't trust ourselves in order to be able to achieve something. I had a client, and actually she's not a client, anyway, I know someone who, and I mentioned this before, I had a conversation with her, and when I looked at what was her pricing, I said to her, gee whiz, sweetheart, no one gets out of bed for that amount of money. I'm sorry. You absolutely do not get out of bed for that amount of money. Nobody pays 200 rand. Okay. Because when I as a client come to you for 200 rand, I have an expectation that this is just going to be a slapdash, just poof, go. Okay. Which is not the value that she brings. She brings way more value than the 200 rand. But if she's not valuing herself, how am I supposed to value her service? Yeah, because that is the question. And when I said to her, and she was wanting to afford my services, and she had some fabulous ideas of how to afford my services, but not at one time did any of those ideas that she have. Not once was the idea, oh, let me increase my pricing. What's that about? How is it that in all of that time, in everything that she's been going through, a simple way for her to have been able to have what she desires, right, was to increase her pricing to the worth that it is? Because I really do. I mean, I experienced the services and I thought that it was far. In fact, it was probably about 4 times higher than what she was charging, right? Which was the price that I would have paid her. But not once did she even think that, oh no. And I said it to her, you have to increase your prices. And she did increase it by a whole 50 Rand extra, okay? Which, you know, for me is like, just what? Why? How do you not see the value in what you do? Okay. And so, you know, for me, it brings another issue up for me as well, that, and I've written about this. I haven't posted it yet. I will probably post it maybe in this week. But one of the things that I've written about was, what do you do when your back is up against the wall? Okay. And we've all been there. We've all been there probably far too many times than what we choose. When our backs are up against the wall, that's the time when some of the most creative damn ideas come about, okay? But your creativity is going to be stumped if you are in a panic, when you are in desperation, okay? Which I know is a bit of a catch-22, because when our back's up against the wall, that's exactly when we're feeling panicked, exactly when we're feeling desperate. But it's first to calm our nerves around that and say, you know what? Firstly, let me take this outside of myself. If this was my friend having this problem right now, what would I say to them? What would I advise them to do? What would I say? And come up creatively with what is it that you can do. Now you're going to find out, like, oh, you know what? I can actually package this and this together and I can go and sell that. I can take these things that I no longer use and I can put it on Gumtree or eBay or whatever. I can, you know, do this and I can sell that off. I can go and, do you know what I mean? There's creative ideas of coming up with something, okay? But when your back is up against a wall, the one thing that is never, ever going to work is nothing. You cannot do nothing in that space, okay? It's the same with me in my business. I have, at any given time, and I've spoken about this before, and I'm not sure if I've spoken about it here, but I know I speak about it in my business groups, where I speak about, what do you want money for, man? You know, money needs to have a place to go. Money needs to have a purpose, okay? If you are not saying and not itemizing what it is that you want money for, money has got no reason to come to you, sweetheart. Okay? We don't just want money for the sake of money. We want to be able to do something with money. Money is there as an exchange for what we want to experience in this life. That is it. Okay? And we give too much clout to, oh, I need to have more of it. You need to have more of it for what? Because that's actually what you're after. Okay? So, you know, just kind of reframe and remap that, you know, because it really does become important. But, I mean, I offered somebody the sweetest damn deal the other day. and after she declined it, I was like, okay, cool, I'm retracting it anyway. And I wasn't retracting it for any reason. I mean, if she comes to me tomorrow, I'd still probably put the deal on the table. But I offered one of my colleagues to take over one of my training programs. And the only provision in this was that she needs to charge what I would have charged for it. So in other words, she can't reduce the pricing. And she takes 75%. 75%. And I take 25%. Okay? So it's my brand, my material, and I train her up, and blah, 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 blah. She said no. Why did she say no? And this was her reasoning. She can't see herself selling something at that high of a value. Interesting. Now, here's the thing. You and I both know that I would be able to find it far easier to sell something of yours it's very easy for anyone to sell something of someone else's. Where people have a problem with selling is where they have to sell for themselves or they have to sell themselves. And this woman was given an opportunity not to sell something of hers, but to sell something of mine. Yet she still couldn't get past her limiting beliefs of she is not worth that amount of money. Okay. Now, there is no limit to what you are worth, by the way. There is no limit. This entire universe is extremely abundant. Okay. And in that extreme abundance, you are also abundant. You know, it is our minds that contracts, that makes us think that we are less worthy, we are less deserving. But it's not true. And it's also because, you know, I know so many people who go every day to their work, to their jobs, and into their businesses, and they have a capped view of what their earning is, particularly those who are salaried earners. Okay, you have a capped view of what your earning is. That's limiting. Okay, and it's limiting because, and I know why it happens. It happens because, oh, that's my job and that's my salary, so it's put out. But you forget that this universe is marvelous. Okay, marvelous. It can bring to you so much only if you believe in it. Only if you believe in it. So it's just, for me, it's a conundrum of note where I think to myself, you know, why is it that any one human being would choose to limit their own possibilities, their own desires, their own choices in this world, just by saying things like, it's too expensive. So next time you find yourself, yes, Donna, abundant and ever expansive. In fact, let me ask you all this question quickly while I have you online. If there was one thing right now that would be a massive win for you, right? I've asked this on my groups as well today, because I'm really interested in what people's answer would be. But if there's one thing that would be a massive win for you right now, what would that be? Okay. Type it out. I'd love to hear from you. In the meantime as well, if you have any questions or comments on, abundance, things being too expensive, blah, 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 then please do pop in. Okay. But yeah, so I don't understand. I do understand. I retract that. I do understand because I've been there. Okay. I've been there in too many situations where I did not know where my next dime is going to come from, how I was going to, pay bills, or how I was going to get through, or blah, blah, blah. Only for me to realize that that is a limited way of thinking, because this entire marvelous universe, created by the most ultimate of creators, is full all of the time. It is abundant all of the time. It is never lacking. So when I perceive myself to be lacking, it's me imposing it on me. But it's not the universe imposing it on me. The universe is telling me all the damn time that it's abundant. It is abundant, abundant, abundant. Okay, so, Karina's saying a speaker's training and technical skills to set up my business properly. Okay, set up my business properly is probably what you said, because I know how you think, Karine. All right, and I assume that comment, Karine, is what would be a win for you right now. Okay, that's easily attainable. Okay. In fact, that email I sent you last week is actually going to do all of that, sweetheart. So maybe that's a conversation we can have. But yeah. And also, Karine, just think about that. That is, you're saying to set up your business properly. I had a conversation with someone earlier on, and and this is why I love having conversations with entrepreneurs, because this woman is about to start her business. Her business is registered, blah, blah, blah. She's in formal employment at the moment. And she is coming out to do a particular service. And when I listen to the particular service, I'm listening and I'm hearing that, she first, in order to actually, fully immerse herself into this business that she's choosing to go into, she first needs to resign from her job and then, start this business, because it's going to be a conflict of interest. So I said to her, okay, before you do that, what is it that you can do now while you're in that employment before you do the other service? Because she also so happens to be a life coach and a business coach. So she says, well, I've been doing career coaching. So I said, well, then do that, sweetheart. Okay, for now. Do the career coaching for now. Get people to know about you, get people to start paying you for your services, and build credibility that way in order to go out, right? Eventually to do the other thing. But here's the thing, the point of this conversation with this wonderful woman that I spoke to earlier on was, done is better than perfect, okay? We seek so long to find perfection. We seek to want to, create this perfect product, this perfect service, this perfect sales page, this perfect, skill set, this perfect blah, blah, blah. Please do yourself a favor. Go and look at some of the videos on this page that I did 2 years ago. Oh my God, I was shit. Okay. I was so shit. And what I knew then versus what I know now from a, skill set perspective is chalk and cheese. Okay. But that's how you learn as you go along, if you are open to it. Okay. So, and again, it's what you're choosing for yourself. And I find that, many, particularly us women, I must admit, we block ourselves very often of wanting to do something because we perceive that it's supposed to look a particular way. It must sound a particular way first. It must be done in a particular way first before we can actually get out and go and do it. And I'm here to say, no, that is not true. Okay, you have something of value right now to be able to offer the next person in exchange for a monetary value. Okay, Alison, no, trust me, yeah, it was shitty, but thanks, love. Well, I'm happy, Dean, and thank you for being here, love. I haven't seen you in ages. I miss you lots, my friend. But yeah, done is better than perfect. I mean, I have seen people's sales pages that would put me to damn shame. And I just put out one the other day, yesterday in fact, for a webinar that I'm doing next week. And I thought, man, am I going to sit and try to create this in perfection all this time? Or am I actually just going to go out and let people know about this? And I chose the latter. Sorry. So I chose the latter. And I decided to put it out there anyway. And I'm getting people that are signing up for this webinar. Because that's really what I want to do. I want to be able to serve. I don't want to sit long and try and figure out, how must I do this shit? And how must I blah, blah, blah. No. I want to get out there and do it. Okay, so. Corinne, now you see, there, sweetheart. That right there, overcoming failure or the fear of failure. Babe, I can crack a whip on that. And I'll be happy to. Okay. But there also we need to, dig deep. Okay. And this seems like very far from what we initially started talking about. Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, it's blah, blah, blah. No, actually, it is fully related. It is fully related. People's fear of failure is one of the, and I put this gently in inverted commas, is our excuse that we use for, oh no, I can't do that because I can't sign up for something that is above my pay grade right now because I'm too fearful that I'm going to fail at whatever I'm going to learn and fail to implement it, and therefore I won't be able to make that money as a return. Man, I had that fear as well. Okay, but I cannot be held back anymore by that particular fear. And so I don't allow my lower mind to get involved in that anymore because I'm sorry, it's I'm going to choose what my higher mind is saying to me rather than what my lower mind is saying to me. And my higher mind is my truth center. Okay, it's my divine state of which I choose to listen to. So yeah, so by the way, let me also just say this quickly. I mentioned the webinar that I'm having next week Wednesday at 12 p.m. South African time, 10 a.m. UK time. It's the day before I leave for the UK. And this webinar is specifically to help people understand, first of all, the 4 levels of consciousness, the 4 levels of intelligence, how that is working in your life right now, how to improve it in order for you to actually create more profit, more income flow with ease and, of course, with flow. Okay, so if that is something that floats your boat, if that's something that is of interest to you, then please do join me. I'll put the link up on this page, for you to see, and then you can have that as well. All right, so any other questions before I sign off? You know, one of the things also, and I must admit, one of the big things for me when I was sitting with my coach and listening to my coach many years ago, well, not many years ago, last year in fact, and I knew that all I needed to do was to, one, be fully me, okay? Because I've spent too much of my years trying to be someone else, trying to be many other people, and it don't fucking work, okay? I've tried far too often to mimic what other people do because, oh, they've reached success with that, and so therefore that must be the path of success, okay? No, each of us has got a unique path to our success, okay? But there are certain fundamentals that is the same for everyone that is, you know, kind of in this online space or in the space of wanting to create more in their business. And that foundation I have now got under the belt, thank God. And I was watching one of my latest business students. Two of them just joined last week. And I taught them how to write content that, you know, appeals to people, content that makes people want to actually read what the hell you're writing, and that makes people want to get into contact with you, but that is truthful, that is raw, that is, you know, all you. And yesterday one of these students sent me his first piece of content, and I was blown away. I was blown away how simple, you know, these easy 6 steps was something that he could just follow and write out this thing, and it was spot on. It was beautiful, okay? And now because he has that piece of content, he can now go and take that content and create a video out of it. I mean, I just did that this morning, did I not? I wrote out that thing about it's too expensive, or, you know, I can't afford it. And I decided, oh, you know what, actually I need to talk about this because I could feel it's on my chest. I want to be able to talk more about it. And so, you know, that for me is a beautiful thing to watch when I get to see my business, you know, clients and my business students, you know, take what I have given them as a foundation, but they put in their own words to it, they put in their own life story to it, they put in their own everything to it, which is their unique pathway, but with the foundations. You know, for me, that is just a phenomenal thing to watch. So I will post the link to the webinar in this bob here that I'm this live, okay, and you can have a look there. You're more than welcome to sign up. Should you sign up, or when you do sign up for the live for the webinar, which is next week, you'll also be getting a complimentary 12-step doc. It's a little doc that I did of the 12 steps of reprogramming your limiting beliefs and your limiting thoughts, okay? So I don't know if that's of value to you. I'm being facetious, of course. But it really is the very thing that I've been using for my life in order to overcome exactly those things, the fear of failure, I don't know how I'm going to do it next, let me overcome my perfectionism, and so on, and get out to do what I need to do. So, you get that for free when you sign up. And the webinar is happening next week on whichever date is next week, Wednesday, the 20th, I think, and it's at 12 p.m. as I said, South African time, 10 a.m. UK time. So if there are no other questions, if there are no other comments, I'm going to leave you at that. Please know that in conclusion to everything that I've said right now, whatever it is that you desire, whatever it is that you choose for yourself, be it that it's the new bag, or be it it's the house, the car, or a pamper session, or traveling, or coaching, or learning, or whatever it may be, instead of saying it's too expensive or you can't afford it, which contracts your energy and makes you smaller, okay, it also lowers your vibration. And when it lowers your vibration, you are unable to attract what you choose for yourself. So change your wording, change your mindset around it, and change your belief around it as well, okay? And when you do that, you start changing your words to, that is not my financial priority right now, or that is not a priority for me right now. But know the truth that you are saying around that. Because, for someone like myself who's selling, coaching and retreats and business coaching and masterminds and that, when somebody comes to me and says, oh, I want to do that, and then says, oh, no, it's too expensive, I have to change their words. No, you don't want to do it, sweetheart. Even though they're telling me that they do, because if they did want to do it, they'd figure out a way, as I did several times before. Okay, so it just, one of the things that John DeMartini always says is that when something is high on your values, when something is of value to you, when you see the value in something, you will go through both pain and pleasure in pursuit of it. Okay, and I know exactly what that is for myself. Okay, so rather be truthful about it, for yourself, not for me. I don't need to know, but for yourself first and foremost, and choose more expansive ways, expansive words to use, so that your energy is more expanded, and rather look at the probability of how you are already receiving things. People say to me, oh, I don't have the money, and I say to them, you know what? That is such a lack consciousness. Go around your home right now and start making a mental calculation of all the things in your home, all the things that you've ever bought, and if you had to resell it right now, what is the value, rand, or dollar, or pound value of everything around you right now? And when you calculated that, even if I'm like, I've never gotten to the end of the calculation, because after a few couple 100,000, you get to the point of saying, oh shit, actually, guess what? I am surrounded by abundance. I am literally surrounded by abundance. I am literally surrounded by money. I am literally surrounded by so much. Who am I to perceive or think that I don't have? Of course I have. Of course I have. I have plenty, right? And with that energy, you start expanding. Because as you expand, your energy vibration goes higher. And when your energy vibration goes higher, you start attracting more to yourself. So I leave you with that thought. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for giving me of your time. Please, if you feel that this can help someone, by all means, please do share it. And thank you so much for joining me. With all my love, I'm Noha. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.